We had a lot of new leaks about Classic Plus recently. I wanted to cover this video, apparently it just huddles them together. You know, at this point, I think Classic Plus is just a manifestation of disgruntled WoW players' ideas. I really don't know what's going to come out of it. All I know is that Blizzard is never going to do right by us, because they're the most reprehensible company on planet Earth.
World of Warcraft leaks aren't really worth spending that much time on, between fan-made concept art presented as internal documents, screenshots with no
Real.
proof behind them, and roadmaps that conveniently just predict what everyone really
Oh,
wants.
thank you
There's
for the
no
follow,
shortage of people throwing things at the wall, and 9 times out of 10 the right move is to just wait for Blizzard to fully confirm something before really starting to talk about it. However, this one is a little bit different, and it's getting some serious attention right now from the WoW community.
Look at that. I think they entered this screen by mistake. I think it was supposed to be the Excel sheet for their quarterly earnings, and they're like, oh, what the hell, get that out of the way. That's not it.
Because this leak was first seen back in August of 2025, when it was supposedly a leak for the future of World of Warcraft, including retail, classic, and various other genres too. And back then it didn't really get any attention whatsoever because the World of Warcraft has a lot of leaks. There's a reason I don't cover them all. But just the other week on June 16th, data miners found something that leaked this old image with something that just started to hit their internal servers. And this is just way more than anything that could possibly be a coincidence. So let's go through what we have on the image, why it appears to be something rather legitimate, and what it could mean for the future of Classic. So as mentioned, this is a franchise slate for World of Warcraft, going over the future of the game and its various different versions. And given that this first appeared in August of 2025, it has matched up with a lot of real dates, such as The War Within launching Q3 of 2024, Midnight WoW plotted Q1 2026, and TBC Classic Anniversary releasing in late 2025, into early 2026. Mr. Pandaria on this was also due to come out mid-2025, and again, that checks out. The biggest detail though is codename Camelot, which appears under the Era or Camelot section of the presentation, and this is positioned to release around Q3 of 2026, which is when BlizzCon.
The thing that scares me the most about this, and I'm going to be like dead honest here, is the fact that it's right under Wrath of the Lich King. Now, the reason I'm afraid for this is because Camelot just seems like an expansion. It just seems to be like a season of Discovery too. I think that's why they chose this name. This name doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I think if they wanted to do something more grandiose, they would have called it like Classic Redemption or some shit like that. I don't know, I'm just making stuff on the fly. It wouldn't have been Camelot. I don't think Camelot is an appealing name. I don't think it's an appropriate name. I think it's going to be a very cheap, fast version for them to add cash. Also, on top of that, why would you release it so close to Classic? Wrath of the Lich King? That's what kind of irks me. I really don't get it. And also why we have in 2028 Classic Fresh. God. Why? When will they stop milking this, for the love of God? Just make something good.
Will be, by the way. This is also
it's a patch. Exactly. That's what I'm afraid of.
So speculated to pick up as of patch 1.60, which is quite a leap from what we have at the moment, and is also kind of interesting because Classic Era and Season of Discovery currently sit on a 1.15 version of the client. When you see a project on a completely separate branch that far forwards, it really does stand out. That is a massive jump in versions from what we're used to at the moment. I mean, regular Classic ends on 1.12, but Blizzard have been building on it a lot since then. The 1.60 figure likely signals that Camelot, or whatever this is being built on a substantially more modern and updated version of the Classic engine than what's currently running on the live servers. I mean, if you've played Classic for long enough, you've seen moments when different versions of the game have updates that mess up other versions of the game. Like when Blizzard put new world buffs in Season of Discovery and then they started to appear on Classic Era, or when Season of Discovery received some updates or raid tuning and it broke something in Classic Era in Naxxramas.
So just build a new engine. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. Like, I don't care. Like, oh, Blizzard using their new engine is causing problem with the old one. So don't have an old one, you weirdo. Just make a good new one from scratch. Like, do you think I care? I don't care. Just make the game good. It's such a weird cope. I really hate when people defend their old-ass engine like that. It just really, it just distraughts me. Like, how can you be so dull? Why are you protecting a multi-billion-dollar company that clearly has all the means to be successful. They're sitting on a golden goose. They have the best IP in the world. They can make the best MMORPG out there with ease. All they need is the will to do so.
Thing kind of happened like clockwork every
So
single time
annoying.
there was a major update, because as far as I'm aware, they're having to try and deal with these two databases which are overlapping each other simultaneously, and it's just really messy. So I think if they are pushing something entirely new, then they will want to move to something which is more consistent moving forwards. But the biggest question will of course always be, what actually is Camelot? The most natural way to read into it is, simply put, it's Classic Plus that we're all expecting Q3 2026 around
Yes.
BlizzCon. We all know it's happening. Blizzard
The source, I made that up. The source is, trust me, dude. Man, WoW players are grasping at straws, dude. It's crazy how hard we want to believe this would be Classic Plus, and we don't even know it. It will be something new, I will say that. But I think it's not going to be that big. Honestly, don't think so. It really, like, so many things about this just don't register inside of my brain. Maybe they're just a me thing. Maybe I've grown to be so skeptical of Blizzard, I'm not willing to believe anything until I see it or try it myself.
have been hinting at it forever.
I've
It's
been
finally
hurt.
going to arrive to pretty much nobody's surprise, right? I also want to bring up a second possibility that could come alongside Classic Plus, because Camelot could function as a bit of a consolidation point for Classic era realms, a permanent landing destination where characters from various progression tracks end up and stay, rather than being scattered across these different realm clusters. Because as you can also see in the image, they're going to be doing Classic Fresh again, and then TBC Fresh again, and this whole cycle is just going to keep repeating, so those characters are going to need somewhere to end up. Camelot could be like a kingdom of different servers where characters can go and stay, whilst Blizzard continually rolls fresh on and on.
So it's going to be purgatory? It's going to be, like, what? Is this like Blizzard version of Dante's Inferno? So you start with Classic, you progress to TBC, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, and then somewhere down the line you just end up in a limbo that's Camelot? That's, I don't know how that idea works, Chief. I don't think that's good.
That's probably reading into the name of it a bit too much, because gaming companies do codename projects all of the time. This isn't unusual, but it could just be a coincidence.
It
But
could be a
beyond just
codename.
Camelot, the franchise slate progression row tells its own story, partly through what it includes and partly through what is absent. So Wrath of the Lich King Anniversary appears in Q4 of 2026, sitting very close to the Camelot launch window. Now Blizzard's official 2026 roadmap made no mention whatsoever of Wrath Anniversary, which has fed some speculation about whether it is actually going to happen. The slate suggests that it is, and the timing makes logical sense. I've also gone over Wrath Anniversary in some recent videos, and I think it's absolutely happening. Blizzard will have seen how much money they've made from TBC Anniversary, from re-releasing it, selling all the upgrade packs, selling all the boosts and so on, and they will
What, come on, nobody's exciting for WoD Classic? Guys, ain't nobody want Garrison and table missions again? What are you on about? That's crazy. Literally, Blizzard would be leaving free money on the floor. That's insane. I know, because I came into WoW during Warlords of Draenor. I know that. It's insane. That was the time that I got my first credit card, and if you could actually imagine that, my first ever purchase was Warlords of Draenor. That was quite literally the first purchase I've ever made with my credit card. And it will always be a shame upon this credit card.
want to capitalize on that again 100%.
God
but you may
bless.
think, hang on, Blizzard isn't going to release two separate versions of World of Warcraft that close to one another, and
Yeah,
all I
don't
can
ever
say
think
is
about it. I
they do
can't.
this all the time. It's really not unusual. It seems to me that Blizzard make the majority of their money on World of Warcraft when something releases, and then afterwards things are just kind of a bonus. The real life gold farm for them is when something comes out. We've seen it with TBC Anniversary. This is how Blizzard approaches expansions. At the start of it, there's loads of news, loads of updates, loads of blue posts, they're changing a bunch of things. It gets to that point where it releases, and now what? Now how many more updates have we seen with TBC Classic? How much more raid tuning? Have Blizzard paid attention to class balancing? Have they been making any more significant changes? No, that release window is done, and the expansion is just going straight until Wrath of the Lich King, at which point they'll start paying attention again. As for Mists of Pandaria, well, we don't have Warlords of Draenor on the slate whatsoever, and this just doesn't doesn't come as a surprise to me either. I mean, you can say if you want to look at classic and modern progression expansions, how a lot of people play them, which is raid logging, then WoD would actually be fine because it does have 3 good raids. But outside of those 3 good raids, man, there is nothing to do whatsoever. On top of that, the raiding is only getting more and more difficult as we go through these expansions, and they aren't going to skip over WoD and go straight to Legion either. I mean, can you only imagine the amount of work that will be needed to get original Legion working again? That expansion had so many new features, they're just not going to want to invest the time into it. I've said it before with the classic progression expansions, but in the future, Blizzard will do everything through remixes. They've already remixed MOP, they've already remixed Legion, and they will end up remixing every single expansion from Cataclysm all the way to BFA across the next few years.
Blizzard is going to do anything but create a good new version of the game. That's what he's trying to say here. And he's absolutely right.
I can basically guarantee you. Remix has proven to be a great way to keep retail players engaged during the end of an expansion cycle until something new comes about again. And they can recycle Remix every few years so people can get rewards that they missed previously. It's honestly a genius long-term system from Blizzard here. But for Classic, I've no doubt it's ending at MOP, at which point those characters are probably going to be put somewhere in the Kingdom of Camelot and...
Like, that's what makes me so angry. How is that genius? These idiots are just literally farming the same bunch of bots over and over again. How is that genius? It's the same concept as mobile games. It's not being genius, it's just cashing on addicts. It's insane, it's pathetic and sad. This is anything but genius. It's absolutely derogatory just to do that to your fans. Just put them in an infinite loop like a hamster on a wheel that never stops running. It's so sick. It's disgusting. And some people can break out of that loop, and that's awesome, but some people can't. We shouldn't really treat them as like idiots and just take their money away. It's so disheartening to see and hear that.
The foreseeable future. I've no idea what they could do with them, whether they could merge them into retail, what would happen to all those collection items, because people will have Scarab Lord and various titles which wouldn't have been earned back in the day. Maybe those rewards could have a different ID and could be tagged classic so people can see they're different, but who knows what Blizzard's options are here. There are a few more bits and pieces that might be of interest to you too. The franchise slate shows entries that have received less attention than Camelot but are worth having a quick little talk about. In 2028 it shows a project called the Warcraft Chronicles listed as an RTS, with an anime series noted alongside it. A brand new franchise RTS by 2028 just sounds, I don't know. Blizzard already have what is probably the most successful RTS ever in StarCraft.
Bro, you're gonna cash out on the weebs? Listen, I watched my fair share of anime, and I still do, because I'm a little bit of an anime enthusiast, what do you call it? I have a few figurines in the back, if you paid attention to the astute observers out there, but... like, why would I ever watch an anime about World of Warcraft? That's kind of weird. I don't really get it. Like, why they're trying to sprawl into everything. And maybe this is one of the indicators that, you know, this entire thing might just be fake. I don't really see it. Also, Warcraft Chronicles and Arthas ARPG. Like, Arthas ARPG sounds dope, but I don't really trust Blizzard to do it. What are they going to do? Retcon Arthas and make him, like, a crying adult as well? Is he just going to be throwing temper tantrums? Like, oh my god, there's zombies at Stratholme? We need to purge them with the power of friendship. Like, that's what we're going to do? We're going to throw flowers at undead people? We're not going to call them like we should have? I mean, I don't know. It just weirds me out, man. I really don't know what they're going to do. Hardcore normies will. They will. They will.
Warcraft. Why would they go about doing something entirely new in a Warcraft universe?
Probably.
It's not the theme and characters, which are why RTSs aren't as popular as they once were. It's because they're, you know, really difficult to play, and your players are a bit older now, so they're not as engaged with that type of content. Still, the anime series could be interesting. Maybe Blizzard took a look at Arcane from Riot and thought, you know what, we'll have a go at that just a few years later. Fashionably late for Blizzard as normal.
Brother, you think Blizzard can achieve anything remotely close to Arcane? But you're the Lulu. Like, that's crazy. They would never as reach to even to the first episode level. Never. No matter which series they will create, it will be bad. How do I know that? Because the current writers for Blizzard are probably the same people who work on the MCU. You don't want these people writing anything but fanfiction that nobody reads on a fringe blog out there in the open. You don't want these people deciding where stories should go or lead to. Never in your entire life. And that's why I'm 100% convinced that a World of Warcraft anime would suck balls.
And in 2029, the slate shows an Arthas ARPG with a live-action series attached. Again, this is kind of weird, like the RTS thing. They already have possibly one of the most successful ARPGs ever in Diablo. Why are they expanding outside of a franchise they already know works and makes a ton of money? I mean, as controversial and poor as a lot of people saw Diablo 4 being at launch, it's gone on to make well over $1 billion in revenue, so yeah, it's pretty popular. For me, if I was them, I'd already be well.
It wasn't popular for the story, brother. You can be sure of that.
Working on Diablo 5 and 6. Then again, Arthas is such a huge character in the Warcraft universe. Anything with his name and face on will surely do well. Then again, these entries are still quite far out, but I thought they'd be interesting to have a brief mention of. Overall though, this leak was quite interesting and I just wanted to have a quick chat about it, mainly because it first came up in August of 2025 and things have just hit Blizzard's test servers to suggest that what was on there is actually true. It's very rare you have 2 points you can link up together like this when leaks happen. What Camelot ends up being, I'm pretty sure, will be a code name for Classic Plus, and right now time is ticking down towards BlizzCon where we can finally get an answer on this stuff. So what do you reckon? Are you interested in this potential future of the game? Do you think Camelot will be Classic Plus? And how do you feel about them still doing Classic, TBC and Wrap Fresh in the future? They're gonna...
I think it's pathetic. I think Blizzard as a company, like as a whole, is just one giant joke. And all we can do is laugh hysterically and point at them. It's so, man, like this is a good video, by the way. I'm gonna leave it in a link, guys. It's not like this guy faulty just covering the news. It's so laughable. I mean, it's so cringe just to watch Blizzard ruin my favorite game in the entire world for the sake of money. And they do it wrong too, because if they would do it right, everyone would have paid them for it. I would have played the game again, but nobody's playing it. It's all fake numbers with bots that inflates it. Everyone knows it. Everyone with a semi-functional singular brain cell that still somehow works knows it, and knows to stay away from current retail World of Warcraft. It's just so sad they have to return to re-releasing the same old game that people love to make ends meet. It's pathetic, it's laughable, and we should never trust Blizzard with a new IP whatsoever.